to your name we bring. Guide our thoughts and be our King. Hymnodia. The end receive, the hymns receive.
The end receive.
To thee with wings. To your name we sing. Hymnodia.
This is Hymnodia. Last stanza on Hymnodia witnessed a new experience in the hymnviction process. For the first time on Hymnodia Season 1, 2 hymn testings were actually hymn-victed on the same night. It was also the first time female hymn testings were hymn-victed, Blessing and Juliet. This came as a rude shock to many, but the vote spoke and the Hymnstitute had to obey. So, from 14 outstanding hymn testings, we are now down to 7. The battle for the Asaph is getting fiercer as we get closer to the grand finale, the hymn cert, where our winner will emerge and the Asaph will be lifted high to the glory of God Almighty. Today on the show, we bring you backstories from the Hymnstitute, the fun from the street, and more from around the world of Hymnodia. Welcome to the Hymnodia Magazine Show. For updates on the latest happenings on Hymnodia and to catch up with the previous stanzas of the program and the magazine show, please join the interesting conversation on our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Hymnodia HQ. You can also subscribe to, like, and share our YouTube channel. This is Hymnodia. All the hymn testings gave a good show of themselves at the last performance show. They did justice to the theme, Chorus to the Hymns, as they wrote and performed new hymns from popular choruses. Like great hymn writers from the past, the hymn testings wrote out their experiences in the verses and performed to the admiration of the audience and the judges in pursuit of the coveted Asaph and other prizes. It was an amazing experience.
Oh my darling Jesus, you're a wonderful.
And be praised from everlasting, everlasting to everlasting. My very soul shouts hallelujah.
In joy and pains, endless love he shows.
We are gathering together unto thee.
Come magnify the Lord with me. I exalt the name of Jesus.
Jehovah is your name.
This is Hymnodia. Let's catch up with the Dean of the Hymnstitute on his takeout from the exciting Chorus to Hymns performances of stanza 10. This is the Dean's Diary.
Dear Diary, Blessing and Juliet have been evicted from the show. The first 2 females to get evicted. Now, these vibrant and vocally powerful ladies buckled to the awesome power of the art of worship. They have blessed us with their hymn writing skills and thrilled us with their heavenly voices. On behalf of the faculty, I do wish them the very best in their endeavors. It was power-packed to witness hymn testants convert choruses to hymns in our last performance show. Choruses that have blessed us over the years, wearing garments of vessels in their old delivery of such choruses. The strife isn't over yet, as 4 more hymn testants have been put on probation. Bolanle, Jemine, Udwak, and the latest entrant, Abigail. Kenneth, Olumide, and Rachel so far have refused to be scarred by the wounds of probation, preparing night and day, fighting tooth and nail to stay top of the pack. The numbers are reducing by the day, but we at the Institute will always rise to the occasion with an amazing twist coming up soon.
This is Hymnodia. Despite the superlative display of hymn writing and rendition by all the hymn testants, 4 of them were put on probation with the possibility of hymnviction. But with your votes, you can keep your favorite hymn testant in the competition with the opportunity of lifting the ASAF at the hymn cert. Did you vote?
I don't really feel bad because at this point, because I've gone through this so much that I've tried all the emotions. I've tried sadness, I've tried anger, so now I'm happy. Because at the end of the day, whatever God wants to happen, that's what's to happen.
Everything has a reason for happening. Everything has a reason for happening, and it's not going to stop me from loving God or trusting in His will. No, it's never going to stop me.
At a point, I felt like giving up, but I think that's a feeling that anyone could have in this world, but you don't stay there. You pick yourself up and keep running, and so that's what I've decided to do.
Being on probation the 3rd time, I still rely on God at this point. I really rely on God at this point because for the 2 times I have been successful, I think it is for God's faithfulness and grace. I still hope in God.
If I leave at this stage of the competition, I think I will be fulfilled like 85%.
I don't know if I will be fulfilled if I'm evicted. I'm not sure, but I still leave everything to the will of God.
I will be very ungrateful to God. I will be ungrateful to myself if I leave today or tomorrow and then tell anybody I'm not fulfilled. I am grateful for the opportunity God gave me through Hymnodia.
I believe that at whatever point I leave here, it will be the time God has destined for me to leave, and He most likely has a reason why. And so I have just decided to keep trusting that He who began a good work in me, that good work at this point being Hymnodia, a very good work.
This is Hymnodia. After the performances by the hymn testants, Kenneth was adjudged the most outstanding performer for the stanza, followed by Olumide. How did they do it? Let's hear from the horses' mouths.
Well, basically, you have to reinvent yourself in every performance. You have to bring up something new. You have to think about something that you have not done before, that you can do something spectacular. So, like I say, for every performance, I just do the best that I can possibly do at that point in time and not bother about what I will do in front. Just do what I can do now, put everything into now, and then hope that what you have done is good enough. So you just have to, arrangement is my strong suit. That's my strength in all this composition and everything. I can rearrange songs. So work on a very nice arrangement and then look for nice elements you can put in, and then do your best on that day to express them as well as you want them to be felt, so the judges get the point. Because sometimes having the good arrangement is not enough. You have to be able to express it for the judges and the audience to feel what you are putting out there.
Every stanza, I try as much as possible to come up with a strategy to do something very different from every other hymn testant. And that's exactly what I did for last stanza. I came up with a strategy. At some point in the performance, I did, I think the second or third stanza, I did this Arabian scale thingy and everybody loved it, even the judges. So I decided to bring it back in a more elaborate way. I didn't just do it the same way so that they won't say he has run short of ideas. So I did the Arabian scale in a bigger way, you know, and then I also did some notes. We call it bent notes in the blues genre of music. I brought it into classical music, you know, and I made sure that when I was doing that bent note, the organist was not playing so that they can hear it and know that, yes, this guy knows exactly what he's doing. I did it twice in the performance, and then I ended it in a very big way. So I think all those things work for me.
This is Hymnodia. As the dust settled on stanza 10 and the hymn-victed ones took their leave of the Hymnstitute, the remaining hymn testants are already at work on their tasks ahead of the last performance show on Hymnodia Season 1 with the theme Hymns in Added Verses. The task requires each hymn testant to choose an existing hymn and create more verses while retaining the original melody, poetic meter, syllabic structure, and rhyming scheme. This is another first from Hymnodia and further proof that Hymnodia is beyond singing.
So the task is such that you take a hymn, say a hymn like, I am not worthy, oh my God, something like that, and then you have the first verse, it stays. Every hymn has a meter that we work with, and it has a syllabic structure and it has rhyme scheme. So what we're to do is maintain the rhyme scheme, maintain the syllabic structure, and maintain the meter, but create, with all that in mind, create 2 extra verses for the song. I picked God Will Take Care of You because God always takes care of you. If He calls you to do something, He has a purpose, so don't worry about what you're leaving behind. He certainly will take care of you.
The song I'm going to perform is titled Whispering Hope. It is a message of hope, you know, words of consolation to anybody who tends to give up, to always listen to the tiny little voice that there is hope in everything if we believe. In percentage, I've done about 70%. I think I'm just working on my finishing touches, but rehearsals is on top gear, so I'm practically ready.
Well, my preparation has been going well. I picked the hymn All to Jesus I Surrender, and I've written 2 extra verses, and I'm done with I showed it to the music director and the choir master, and they've approved it. So I'm also done with my arrangements. All I have to do now is rehearse properly, very, very well.
I've been able to write 2 extra verses for the song I chose, which is His Eyes on the Sparrow. Yeah. So we're supposed to perform the first verse and 2 new verses that we composed. I've done the composition and trying to commit it to memory, and also, arrange it for performance.
The hymn I chose is Old Rugged Cross. And I chose this hymn because I like the hymn personally, and it's a common hymn that people can easily connect to. And for my vocal type and voice range, it's something that will really make me express myself.
Okay, the hymn I'm doing is, Oh Lord my God, how great thou art. The person that wrote the hymn was totally inspired by God. It's obvious because it's not a hymn you can just sing and, and that really made me to, had to sit down, pray about it. Like, I can't afford to just write lyrics that are not, properly inspired by God.
So I chose Come Christians Join to Sing, which is a hymn I love very much. And then I added 2 verses to it. The arrangement is done, and I'm almost done with putting the lyrics in my head, which is one major thing. And then I had rehearsal with the organist, which was a very productive one, so 70%. But in the coming days, we would clean it up.
This is Hymnodia. Chibike Kashmir, aka Igwe Chibaik, and his crew continue their adventure with Lagosians as they hit the streets to engage people and watch them sing their favorite hymns. Enjoy the latest from Street Hymnodia.
Hello, beautiful people of Lagos. My name is Chibike Kashmir, aka Igwe Chibaik, and this is Street Hymnodia. You sing your favorite hymn for us.
Yes, I can.
Good. So, babe, you can now sing.
Ọlọ́run tí a kò lè dá dúró, mo gbé ọ̀gá o. Ọlọ́run tí a kò lè dá dúró, mo gbé ọ̀gá o.
Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, name what the Lord has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one.
Good.
And you'll be surprised what the Lord has done.
Onward, Christian soldier, marching on to the cross. With the cross of Jesus going on before.
This is Hymnodia. Hymnodia chose to extend the celebration of Mother's Day by inviting awesome women and great mothers to spend time with the hymn testants throughout the week. 3 amazing women visited the Hymn Institute in the course of the week. They talked to the hymn testants on how to balance life, career, and faith for a better living.
God sees your future, but you have to ask Him, what do you want for me? And it might be nice to get away with a prize of 5 million naira, get the car, and get the ASAP. It might be nice, but it may not be what God is calling you to do. But that He has brought you to this house, it means that there might be that hymn that will be like Amazing Grace, that 300 years after it's been sung. You don't know what it is. You may never even see it, but do it with your heart and do it with Him.
I don't want to burst the bubble of whoever gets to win. But do you realize that most times the people that actually win these competitions don't really stand out so much? It is actually the one or the other people who are equally good but did not win who come out to be stars. There is so much more that is going on right now that you can't put money on. So it is very, very, very critical that as you put your eyes on the prize, you don't underestimate all the other things that are happening that can actually help you be better. And the prize is what somebody gives to you, but what you give to yourself is what is more enduring. And what you give to yourself depends on what you do when you live here. You are all contesting, but one person is going to get the prize.
I want to ask you guys a question. Why are you in Hymnodia?
I've always loved hymns, and then I wanted to discover a lot about myself. I've never been on a stage or a big stage before. It was just me bringing myself out and seeing another part of me.
When I saw the advert, what really caught my attention was it is beyond singing, the act of worship. Yes, I've been singing for so many years, but I really wanted to know what was beyond singing. And I must say, my stay here has really brought me closer to God than I was. I've learned how to connect with God. I've learned how to pray through singing, which was what I wasn't used to doing before.
For me, I grew up in a hymn singing household. My mom always wanted to have a choir. So since she didn't have a choir then, we were the guinea pigs. So we were her own choir at home. She would just go, come back, and she said she had learned one new hymn. And we'd be like, we don't know it. She would say, okay, good, learn it. So I grew up singing hymns. And when I saw Hymnodia, sincerely, I did not believe it. I thought it was a joke. But I said, let me just check, because who does a reality TV show about hymns? Come on. So when I got there and I saw how it was, for me it's an opportunity to see that level of expression and then to overcome my shortcomings. I'm good with music, but I'm horrible at writing. So at least let me see if I can balance the missing part, and if balance is then. So it was a learning opportunity for me, an opportunity to also see if I could express what I had inside. And then winning the money will not be a bad idea too.
Thank you. Because I've been waiting, nobody's talked about the money.
The money.
Because in this whole thing, only one person is going to be the winner. In terms of what? Cash and whatever. But you are all winners if what you came for, you achieve it.
This is Hymnodia. The hymn testants have been away from their family and friends for 2 months. This is especially daunting for people with spouses. Last weekend, the hymn testants were allowed telephone access to call their families. Boy, did they snatch the opportunity with both hands.
I've missed everything. Everything basically. I've missed my wife's cooking. I've missed my kids. Jumping around, scattering the house, scattering my room. Sometimes I just wake up in the morning and I find them on the bed. This one is here, this one is here. You guys, you have your own room now, you have your own bed. And they're like, no, I want to stay beside you, I want to stay beside you. All of that stuff.
He was really, really supportive. So staying, not seeing him, not calling him for this long, it's not easy, but I am very sure that the way he pushes me, like, just don't worry, it's going to be fine, don't worry, it's this, it's this. I'm even more concerned about him, like, how is he coping, because I'm laughing, I'm playing.
I haven't seen any member of my family for, as long as we've been here. It's kind of new to me. I've never been away from my family without a phone, a visual, a phone where you could actually communicate visually, so it's not been so easy because I've been married for 10 years and I've been used to being mommy, like taking care, coordinating. I think of how people are faring and try to coordinate how, things in the house go.
This is Hymnodia. That's all on the Hymnodia magazine show tonight. Please join the conversation on our social media platforms. We are also open to hear from you. Send us your comments, questions, or feedbacks on our social media handles or by mail to info@hymnodiahq.org. Remember, the show now reaches more homes nationwide: Jos, Ilorin, Kaduna, Calabar, Onitsha, Uyo, Abuja, and Akure. It's wholesome entertainment all the way. See you next week. This is Hymnodia.